I used my dot cam camera and it was just like way too up close and personal. I was like, oh gosh, quarantine for sure. All right. Happy Thursday, May 6th. We're going to be starting our next unit today, which is the genetic variation unit. Today's going to be more of a fun kind of day. You might get out of here a split, maybe a little bit early. Hi, Mark. Hi, Eunice. But we're going to play bingo for some extra credit. And we're going to specifically be doing that with our traits. So we're going to start looking at, and this is going to be a fun way that we're going to start to introduce the idea of like, okay, what are some of the different things that are about us that are controlled by our DNA? So linking it from our previous unit, knowing that the DNA is a genetic code for everything for you. So specifically, what sorts of things can we physically see and not physically see that are controlled by DNA? And then where do our traits come from? So what does that progression look like? So we're going to be doing a lot of stuff. This is a pretty big unit, I recall correctly. So your notebook's going to be probably one of the bigger notebooks. Basically, it's like 2 units in one. So we're going to look at the concepts of sexual versus asexual reproduction, your chromosomes, and so how DNA is organized, and then ultimately you guys are going to do genetic crosses. So we're going to be able to take what we've learned and use probability to determine the likelihood of different traits showing up in a population. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Zach. Hi, Jada. Good morning. Good morning. Before we get going though, I have to like give you guys some serious props. Are you kidding me with this right now? Like, let me make this bigger so everyone can see. Oh, Sam, no. This is only round 2 of 4. So you have 4 notebooks that you guys are doing this semester. But are you flipping kidding me? Do you see what I am seeing? You guys rocked a 94% average on your test. And that's not supposed to say first period. Oh, I hate the quarter system. To not give credit. This is for 4th period. This is you guys. And then 5th period. And then 6th period. Okay. You guys are seriously like little rock stars. I cannot even believe it. Like a 94% class average. You guys by far last quarter, I thought that I had like their scores were super great. No, you guys just blew them out of the water. So collectively, holy cow, you guys rocked the pants off of this flipping test, I swear. Just in this class alone, oh my God, I think I have, let me see if I can pull it up. It probably erased it, but I really want to like tell you. When we're talking about how many people got 100% on it, it's a lot. Let's see. I had it up already. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 people got 100%, which is over half my class. And then I got another 1, 2, 3, 4 more 14 out of 15s. Like, you guys are just seriously so cool. Like, I'm so proud of you guys. I couldn't even. I like even bragged to my husband. I was like, oh, they're so good. Like, I can't even. So props to you guys. So proud of you. That is so helpful for your grades. Like, this is like kicks you guys off. Like, you guys are just coasting right on into summer. Gosh, I'm just so proud of you guys. I know I said that like 18 times already, but I think you guys all deserve to hear it. It's hard right now, and you guys are just slaughtering it. Now, if you still wanted to do a test retake, oh, I forgot to mention, the other coolest part about this whole thing, let's see. No one got below an 80%. That's what I think the other bonkers thing. No one got below an 80%, which is a B. So everybody just did great. Now, if it's in there as a 0 right now, because I'm not really counting those into the mix because I still have 4 tests that are missing, they are in the gradebook as a 0, which is not great. So please make sure you guys get those done, especially with an assessment. Like, there's just no coming back from it, like, at this point, if you don't do your tests. But if you are wanting to do a retake for any reason, remember, you just want to go through the whole process of doing your test corrections at the end of your notebook. If you already did test corrections for your last quiz, just make a copy of that page in your notebook and then do the next set. Your notebook needs to be completed at that point. So not halfway done like with the quiz, but completely done. And then you just want to email me and let me know, hey, I did my test corrections, and I'll go back through and give you guys some feedback and add you to that retake. But like I said, holy cow, you guys are good. So questions about the retake or the test or anything that cropped up that you guys were wanting some clarification on? Righto. Okay, so we're gonna have some fun because you guys just like I said, killed it. So we're gonna play bingo, and we're gonna start looking at our traits. And I will provide. I never give extra credit. I mean, besides if you want to have your cameras on, which can I just tell you guys? There's a lot to say about that. Your guys' level of like engagement in class and answering questions in the chat and stuff like that, where this comes from. So it's a direct link for you guys. But what we're going to do now is we're going to open up our next notebook. So if you guys want to head to Google Classroom and you guys are going to go to the post for our new unit, okay, to open up your notebook. So that's going to be there. Also, remember, if you're still working on stuff for the protein synthesis unit, I reworked it. So now your genetic variation unit is going to sit on top. So I try to put our most current unit always at the top, especially if you're looking at it in this view. And I condensed all of our recordings. So if you're like, I missed some classes and I needed those, they're all right here. Open this guy up and you'll see all of them in order. Okay, so those are always going to be there for you. And I left our class business and like unit opener, so talking about syllabus information on there too, in case you guys needed to go back and hear anything. But go ahead and you guys are going to open that bad boy up, okay? And we're going to take a look at our notebook real quick. Isn't that so springy and pretty? Because we're going to talk about the birds and the bees. Get it? Bees, birds, bees. Yeah? No? No? Oh. Tough crowd, guys. This is what I'm talking about here. It's a big one. So we are going to go one round through. So we're going to start today on the engage activity. So kind of getting us primed for the unit. Tomorrow, you guys are going to do an interactive where you're going to look at the reproductive strategies of various organisms. So when you guys will be able to determine whether they reproduce sexually, asexually, or both. And we're going to get some distinctions about what that means. And what it doesn't mean. At that point, that gets us to the end of the week. Next week, there are 2 days, I think two days I'm going to be gone toward the end of the week. I have some appointments that I have to take my daughter to. So just know that you guys will have a sub on Thursday and Friday of next week. However, I will have all of the videos of me posted. So you guys, it's basically the sub's going to take attendance and you guys can watch the class. And take care of those activities. But also remember, it's a 3-day week or 3-day weekend this weekend. So you guys do not have school on Monday. So no late start, nothing. It's waiver day. So take a breather. But next week, we're going to be basically taking care of the rest of the first phase of our unit. So next week, probably towards the end, you guys will have your mid-unit quiz. Okay. That following week, we'll come back and do part 2 of the unit. So everywhere where you see the 2s, explain 2, explore 2, elaborate 2, that's second phase of the unit. So that mid-unit point, we're going to finish up next week. And then the following week, we will get into working out Punnett squares and looking at some fun stuff with like blood typing and playing a little bit of like Jerry Springer, Maury Povich, kind of like who's the parent, who's not the parent kind of a game. If we go to number 3, though, slide 3, you guys are going to notice there is a lot of vocabulary. Okay. Different, and they're all different from where we were just at with protein synthesis. So here's the best part. If vocab is just not your thing, we're going to have some really great activities throughout the unit that are going to go over all of these, and then these carry into our next unit as well. So that hopefully we won't have 2 massive units in a row with lots of vocab, but they build on each other. Okay. So without further ado, I'll let you guys kind of peruse on that one. We're going to go ahead and play a little bit of traits bingo. Before we do that, though, we're going to watch a quick short video. I'm going to see if this will play on my end so I can just project it for you guys. It is also linked in Google Classroom, okay? And yeah, I'm going to do that. So 1 second while I unshare my screen, and I have to reshare it as a tab so that you guys can hear it. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is to take a look at really how do we define traits? What are they? And what are some different types of traits that we have and what influences our traits? Okay. So let's see if this works. If you cannot hear it, please let me know in the chat. I might have to, we're going to go at this a different route because I posted the video. Maybe not. Oh, we have to be in presentation.
We are all unique. Each of us has a combination of characteristics or traits that is different from anyone else's. Some traits are easy to see, like eye color, height, and freckles. Others are less visible, like asthma, musical talent, and disease risk. Some traits are inherited, and some are shaped by the environment. Eye color and nose shape are inherited traits. They are controlled by genes, which we inherit from our parents. The language we speak and the music we like are shaped by the environment, which includes our culture, our experiences, and our physical surroundings. Most traits are influenced by both genes and the environment. For example, tall parents tend to have tall children, but height is also influenced by nutrition. And while diabetes tends to run in families, it can be controlled by diet and exercise. Even when someone is born with a body type suited for dancing or playing basketball, it takes training and practice to learn these skills. Together, our genes and our experiences make us who we are.
Okay, were you guys able to hear that? Oh, yes. Okay, perfect. So we're going to jump back into our notebook really quick. And wherever my notebook went, there we go. And we're going to go ahead on your guys' end too. I want you guys to answer these 2 questions that are at the bottom of slide number 4. So what is an example of a trait that is influenced by a gene? And what is an example of a trait that is influenced by the environment? Remember, the term genes, that's how our instruction manual, so all the proteins that we have that basically make us who we are, they're organized into individual instructions called genes. So what are some of the traits that you guys heard in the video that are controlled by your DNA? And you guys can drop some of those in the chat, and then when you guys see some you like, you can throw them into your notebook. Yeah, Owen, so nose shape, definitely one of those ones that is influenced by your genes. Eye color, yes. Awesome. What are some other ones you can kind of intuitively think of that might be influenced by your DNA, not necessarily your environment? Yeah, hair color. Now, remember, hair color is one of those crazy things. you're born with a certain hair color. We can change it after the fact, but we are really talking about the genes that would be passed down from generation to generation. So anything that happens after or so during your life is not something that would be passed on. So remember, when we're talking about like hair color, we're really talking about your natural born hair color. Yes, Sam, height for sure is dictated by your genes. Now, the height one, skin tone, also definitely impacted by your genes. Those two, though, are this unique combination where you're not only born with a certain like what we call predisposition, so you're born with certain traits, but those ones are also highly influenced by the environment that you live in. Okay, so when you talk about skin tone, if you grow up in a very tropical sunny climate, okay, you're most likely, even if you are how do I put this, you're more likely to actually be a little bit more olivey or tan complexion over time than if you didn't. If you're going to live somewhere like Greenland, which is all ice, okay, which doesn't have as much, annual sunlight, or, without the rain and all that kind of stuff, then you're more likely going to have a more fair complexion. Okay, but though your skin tone is going to be something that's influenced by the environment. Same thing with your height, like they mentioned. Your nutrition, what you decide to take into your body, really impacts how tall you actually can grow. So growth is impacted by the nutrition you take in. So we're going to look today at a handful of traits that are actually inherited traits. So traits you get from your mamas and your papas. Okay, so in this one, we could say, we're going to say eye color, we could say hair color, height, okay, etc. Things that are going to be impacted by the environment more specifically are the things that are based off the experiences. So what you eat, typically what you eat is based off of your culture, okay? So your diet, your music preferences, okay? Your language. Okay, so what language do you speak? That's a trait, okay? And that is something that is learned, and it's based off of your culture, your environment, okay? What you're exposed to. Now, what you guys see over here, I'm going to go through a quick little, we're going to call a survey, and you guys are going to, in your notebook, either write yes, you have that particular trait, or no, you don't have that trait. Then that's what we're going to use to play bingo, okay? So the first trait we're going to look at here, back and forth, and I'm actually going to stop sharing real quick and switch back over since we're done with the video. There we go. Make it a little bit easier. Sometimes I forget to reshare screen. Okay. The first trait that we are going to look at is actually your ears. Your ears, the specific thing too, like if you go to your earlobe right here, okay, now you have typically two different types of earlobes. You have whether you have attached earlobes or you have detached or unattached. If you can kind of go like this with your earlobe and then kind of like hangs a little bit, okay, and it doesn't go directly onto the side of your face, okay, the hanging ones are going to be unattached. Your attached earlobes are going to be like where your ear goes all the way to the side of your face, okay? So oddly enough, this is what we call a single gene trait. So one gene inside of your body, on your DNA, controls what your ears look like. This specific part of your ear too. Okay, so kind of interesting. So in your notebook, you're going to say yes or no. So like I have detached earlobes, so I would say yes. You guys are going to put whatever it is that you guys have. Okay. Oops, there we go. Now, trait number 2, this one's fun. Tongue rolling. Did you guys know like the basic things like tongue rolling is a single gene trait? So if you can do this with your tongue, you are a tongue roller, okay? And that is an inherited trait that you get from your parental units. If you cannot do that, okay, means you do not have the gene for that. So are you a tongue roller? Are you not a tongue roller? And I would love for you guys to like tell me in the chat too, because I can't see all of you all, like thinking like sticking your tongue out right now. So how many of you guys can actually roll your tongue? How many of you guys can do like where I know people who can do like it's like a weird starfish type thing where you can like make your tongue look like almost like a flower. I can't do it. I just look pretty big. My tongue can't squish that way. It can only fold this way. Oh, you can. My friend used to be able to do it, and she would just like squish her like it almost looked like one of these types of flowers, like some sort of scythe, I think. You can flip it, like, oh yeah, that's cool. But you can't roll it. That's interesting, Jennifer. Yeah, yeah. I'm glad we're recording this right now of me trying to like flip around my tongue. It's great. Okay, so tongue roller or not tongue roller? So that yes or no on in your data table. Okay, next trait. Do you have dimples? So when you smile or pull your cheeks back or flex your like facial muscles right here, do you get little dimples? Either one or two. If you get just one, that's still you have dimples. If you're like, not happening, I have to like try to like force it. I like say I don't have dimples, but they might be under here under the COVID like insulation, but no dimples for me. But if you do, we're talking about those little tiny indentations that people get on the sides of their cheeks. Okay, and remember you can say yes if you get one, you have one dimple or two dimples. Okay, and this is just dimples on your cheeks right here. Okay, trait 4. Handedness. Are you a righty or are you a lefty? Do I have any lefties out there in my little polka dot classroom land? My best friend's a lefty, and it's if you are a left-handed person, eating is always our struggle. So if we sit next to each other and you have your arms like bumping in, it's like she's like, oh my gosh. I'm like, you need to do something about it. But yeah, also she gets the nice like where you're running your hand like over your paper kind of a thing. Oh, you can write with both? Ooh, you're ambidextrous. That's cool. I can the only thing I can do both of is like hit. So when I played fast pitch, I can hit both. I can hit right-handed and I'm right-handed. I'm right-hand dominant, but I can hit left-handed. But that was because I practiced, not because, yeah. If I had to start writing with my left hand, oh, my second grader or my kindergartner would have better handwriting than me. You get confused with which one to eat with. Yeah. Usually whatever you're dominant with, if you're right-handed, people usually eat with their right hand. All right. Oh, the lefties. You are a rare breed. Next one, freckles. Are you a fair-skinned person in my class who gets the nice little freckles? Okay, that is actually caused by a single gene. It's called the MC1R gene. And when we were in class, we would talk all about this because we would usually do a unit on skin cancer. But it controls your melanin production, so basically how tan you are. So you get these little, what a freckle is this little like concentrated area where your body is producing more melanin, okay, for your pigment in your skin than other places. So you just get these little pockets where it's like overdoing it. And that's what a freckle is. So melanin also is controlled by the environment. Melanin is basically like your skin cells armor from the sun. So it's like putting on sunscreen. It's your cell's sunscreen essentially. And the more sun exposure you have, the more melanin you produce. Okay. And so the more melanin you have, the darker you are. So people who are very dark skinned have a lot of melanin because they're typically exposed to more sun exposure. Okay. And when you are fair skinned, it's like your body's trying really hard to build up that melanin, but you just get these little like spots. Oh yeah. Same. So I have like little ones, especially like more in the summer. but they're not like a constant, like year-round type of a thing. Okay. Curly hair. Do we have any curly-haired folks out here? I have curly hair. Curly hair is a genetic trait. Okay. And it actually has to do with the shape of your hair follicle. And kind of what it will do. So you either have like the hair follicles that'll cause your hair to do like a corkscrew, or you have ones that'll make it just do like a wavy pattern. But having curly hair, okay, whether it's round or flat, okay, or like a C shape, that's what gives you that curly hair or straight hair. But it's what we call, it's not a single gene trait, it's what we call a continuous trait. So think like on a spectrum, like you have very, very curly hair and then you have stick straight hair. You fall somewhere in this range. So it's not a trait that can be determined by one single gene, but it's the collection of a few that give you your hair texture. Oh my gosh. Anybody who has curly hair, you know, do we brush curly hair, especially when it's dry? I did the other day and my hair was, no joke, out to here. Because my friends were like, hey, do you want to like get together? I'm like, well, how much time you're giving me? They're like, 30 minutes. I'm like, what now? So I had to like, I put my hair in like a bun thing and I brushed it so I could have it lay flat. And oh my gosh, it was hilarious. It was a full on fro. Like no exaggeration, my hair was out to here. Like, this is intense. Crazy. Yeah, it sucks when it pops up. I know. And he, like, I don't know if you guys, if it's like out of your range, but do you guys watch the show Friends? It's like really old, but then it kind of made like a resurgence kind of a thing. Monica goes to Barbados. Look it up. It's a true story. The humidity is a nightmare. Like if you get a little bit of moisture, it's just like huge. It's hilarious. Yeah, the product game has to be strong with that curly hair. Okay. Do you have a cleft chin or not? This is like a butt chin. Do you have like a dimple in your chin? So if you go like this, it looks like you have a butt on your face. Like your butt face. So if you have a cleft chin, okay, and I think we're that one right here, you have a cleft chin or you don't. So if you do, you're going to put yes. If you don't, you're going to put no. But yeah, basically it's not a dimple in your cheeks, it's a dimple in your chin area right here. It's called a cleft chin. My nephew has a cleft chin, but none of my kids do. All right. Next, allergies. The most wonderful time of the year in springtime. So do you have allergies? Yes or no? Fun facts, like we're probably going to start seeing it here really soon. All of the cotton that floats around, like the cottonwood trees, those are like a nightmare. Pollen, how many of you guys get that yellowy pollen that just like builds up on your cars? I hate it. I wash my car and then like 10 seconds later, it's covered in like yellow polka dots. You guys ever see that? You know what that is, pollen? It's gonna be great for this unit. Pollen is plant sperm. Fun facts. So if you're allergic to pollen, you're allergic to plant sperm. It's the male reproductive cell of plants. Fun, huh? Oh. Only this is like the best unit too. I'm so sad we're not in person because by far like people start to like get blush, like they start to get rosy. It's great. Great fun for me. Okay. Now this is a bonkers one, so you all have to participate. Okay, now I want you guys to go ahead and like clasp your hands together like you're gonna hold hands with somebody. Okay, which thumb is on top? If you just were like gonna bring your hands together, is your left thumb on top or are you a right thumb on top person? Are you a lefty on top or a righty on top? And I like want to do like a class survey. Oh, good. You guys are all lefties like me. Anybody a righty? Oh, Ava. Oh, I can't with this. Now, here's what I want you to do. Try to do it the other way. This is like oh my gosh, it's awful, isn't it? Like if you are a right person on, like if you have your right, it feels so weird, so weird. You have this same thing when you cross your arms. Which one goes in front? Are you a right arm in front? Or try to do it the other way. This is the weirdest one. So when you get mad and you cross your arms in front of you, is your right arm over the left, or is it the left arm over the right? And then try to switch it. I don't even know how to do that. Okay, top, bottom. Awful. This is like a deal breaker. So you guys are gonna start you probably already have most of you, but when you date somebody, it's so weird. And then they go and then this is how you know. I feel like this is like a secret how you know. Like you go to hold hands with somebody and they're a lefty on top, but you're a lefty on top, and you're like, get your thumb out of my thumb spot. It's I had a boyfriend in high school, and I was like, we can't do this. I was like, we can't hold hands. You're bothering me. Oh, but yeah, this is actually a trait. It's controlled by your DNA. Whether you put your left thumb on top or you put your right thumb on top. Super weird. Is Ava the only one who puts the right on the top? You can't be. And if you are, you can just be the unicorn, Ava. The unicorn of the class, even though it's the wrong way. We'll throw you a bone here. Oh, good. Oh, good. Jennifer's got your back. Oh, gosh. It just gives me the heebie-jeebies. Okay. Color blindness. So for those of you, do you guys see that there is something written in the circle? Okay. If you can see it, you are not colorblind. If you cannot see it, okay, then you may be colorblind, and obviously you probably know by now. But color blindness is a single gene, and it's actually located on what we call our sex chromosomes. It's our final pair, and we're going to get into how our DNA is organized. But this is a single gene on a single piece of DNA. And if you have this certain code or not, okay, you might not see what we call red-green. Okay, so when you look at the colorblind thing, you wouldn't be able to see this. You wouldn't be able to see the greens. Okay, yeah, it's mostly, I know it's kind of odd, but it's just could you see the differences in color. One of our teachers at Riverside in the science department is colorblind, so it's really funny. Not funny, I guess, but there's a certain way that a chemical storage closet is supposed to be organized, and it needs to be by color. So different colors represent different types of chemicals, and we can't organize it like that because he can't see the variation in color. He's like gray, gray, dark gray, light gray, medium gray. We could blow up the whole school basically. So we have to have a different way of organizing our storage closet for all of our chemicals because he can't see. All right. Hair shade, your hairline. Okay, so if you take your hair and you pull it back, does it go straight across? Or do you have a widow's peak where it kind of comes down like Count Chocula, like a little vampire? Like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, that's called a widow's peak, and that is a single gene, okay, that says what shape your hairline is going to be. Okay. So the funny part is also during the unit, we're going to start looking into the differences between what we call dominant traits and recessive traits. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's more common than not, but when it shows up, how it will behave with other traits. Okay. So yeah, if you have a widow's peak, that's actually what we call a dominant trait. If you don't have a widow's peak, I don't have a widow's peak, that's what we call a recessive trait. Okay. All right. That was the last one. Now, using your traits, what we're going to do is you guys are going to go into Google Classroom, into the Engage Traits Bingo, and you guys are going to open up your copy of your bingo board. Okay. Now notice you have all of these traits, okay? And I will be the ultimate game master. So I'm gonna, you know, be like, and I'm gonna give you a trait. Now, you're all gonna get the free spot, okay? And you all have your own copy. So you can all take that free spot. And this is just straight up traditional bingo. So you have to get 5 in a row, either going across, up and down, or at a diagonal, okay? And I'm going to call them in order, so you don't want to fill these out before because you don't know which ones I'm going to use. So as I call out your traits, you guys are going to be placing your little pink dots as I call them if you have that particular trait. Okay, so notice that some say I am not colorblind, some will say I am colorblind. So I will call out specifically one of those variations, okay? Questions on that? Now, to get a bingo, you gotta unmute yourself and say bingo. That's my only requirement. You have to go bingo, and then you have to, you can mute yourself back up, but you gotta say bingo, okay? And if I don't catch who it is talking, you know, like put it in the chat. Then what we'll do is I will go into the assignment and pull up, can you slap your mic? Oh, like bing, bing, bing. Now you gotta say bingo. And then I'll go into the assignment and then we'll double check. Okay, so you're playing for some extra credit points here. Everybody good? All right. Okay. Now your first, oh, I just said that. Your first one. I cross my right thumb over my left when I clasp my hands. You are a oddball and you cross your right thumb over your left when you clasp your hands. So on the bingo board, if that is you, you're going to take that dot and you're going to place it on that one. If it is not you, if you're like a lefty like me, you can't do anything. Okay, so only those people right now who will cross their right thumb over their left will put a dot on their bingo board. Okay. Everybody good? Clue number 2. You are going to mark the square with the relatives from whom you do not inherit traits. There might be more than one. So this is almost a little bit of a pre-assessment. So if you're on your board, okay, you'll notice that you have different relatives. So you have like mother and father, grandparents, aunt and uncle. So you are going to mark the squares with the relatives that you do not inherit traits from. So who do you not inherit traits from? Okay, everybody good to go? That is an inherited trait. So you got to think about that one. Really think about who do you inherit your traits from? Follow the line. Right? Okay. You have allergies. Do you have allergies? If you do, you may place your little dot on that one. And this doesn't necessarily have to be like pollen. You could be allergic to dogs or cheese, which, oh God, I feel bad for you. Cheese is the best. Okay, you have allergies. Next, find 2 squares describing the earlobeness and cover the one that applies to you. So everybody gets to place a dot for this one. So, but you're going to cover the dot that describes you. So if you have detached earlobes, you're going to cover the detached one. If you have attached earlobes, you're going to cover the attached one. So everybody gets to put something on this one, but you can only put one. Okay. Everybody good? You have a straight hairline. You do not have a widow's peak. So if your hairline goes straight across, you can go ahead and place the dot for that one. Okay, number 6. You cannot roll your tongue. You cannot roll your tongue. Okay, you cannot roll your tongue. If you cannot roll your tongue, find that little square and place your dot. Number 7, you are colorblind. You are colorblind. All right. Number 8. You're going to find the 2 squares describing your hair texture. Okay, and you're going to cover the one that describes you. In terms of curly hair, remember that falls on a spectrum. So if your hair is wavy, you can go, that's a type of curl. So you can say, if you got out of a shower and you let your hair naturally just dry, does it at least give a wave? Okay, that's curly. If it just dries, stick straight, okay, you would have straight hair. So you're going to find the square that describes your hair type and cover the one that applies to you. Okay. Number 9. You're going to mark the square with the relatives that you from whom you do inherit traits. Okay, so who would you inherit traits from? So mark the ones that you do inherit traits from. Is anybody super close? Usually about right now is like when we'll have somebody kind of like, oh, I'm waiting for one. Okay, number 10. You have freckles. You naturally have freckles. Okay, number 11. You do not have dimples. You do not have dimples. You do not have dimples. Okay, number 12. So you're going to find the 2 squares describing your chin shape, and you're going to cover the one that applies to you. So you have a cleft chin or a non-cleft chin. cleft chin or straight chin?
Bingo.
Oh, Zach, you got it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's check. So straight. We're gonna check it out. Is he a solo winner? Anybody else? Oh my gosh, usually I have at least like 2 get at the same time. You did? Okay, so you do not have dimples. Oh, you do have a cleft chin. You have freckles. Yep, you do not inherit traits from your aunt and your uncle. And you cannot roll your tongue. Dude, good job. Some bonus extra credit points for him. Nice work. How many of you guys are like 1 away? I feel like I was playing along too, and I'm like 2 away. But I would never have gotten this one because like for me to finish, it would be like cleft chin and detached earlobes. And I just said, yeah, I was 2 away on the other one. I could have gotten that one, but I couldn't gotten the other one because it would be like I am colorblind. Yours is all over the place, Jessica. Oh, Juliana, you are 1 left. Oh, well, congratulations, Zach. All right, so you, my friend, will be getting I will add some bonus points for the unit. Keep that added there for you. All right, guys. Thanks for playing my like bingo. Hopefully you guys are entertained a little bit today. And you guys are going to be done. So make sure you just hit submit, even if you guys weren't done. Just hit submit on the assignment, and then that way, make sure you guys get like some credit for that. But basically, what I'll have you guys do for the rest of the class period is make sure that you guys have slide 4, which should be done because we did it together. Done, and then give you guys the rest of the class period. If you have any missing work from the last unit you are trying to finish up, you can use this time to do that. If you are all caught up, then hey man, take a little breather for a bit before you start 4th or 5th period. And again, I am so proud of you guys. You guys did amazing on that last unit. I have full faith you guys are just going to keep this trainer rolling. So tomorrow we are going to start the next activity. So looking at the different types of reproductive strategies and what that means and connected to how your DNA is organized. Okay. Other than that, if you guys have anything you want to chat about, you are free to stay on and ask questions. If not, hey, go ahead and have a good, amazing rest of your day. Bye, guys. Ava, I added you to the